Conference win of the season. Burnett, Hogue close on him, deep three for the win. Oh, it was halfway. Oh my goodness! And the Aggies get their first conference win. That happened to hit the Carnival that gave it the stuffed toy anyway. And with that, we welcome to Aggieland. Tom Hart alongside Sean Farnham. That game was decided by a perimeter shot. Likely this one's decided on the interior.
I think it's all about the bigs because Missouri is a tougher and more physical team than A&M has been in recent weeks. And it starts with Jeremiah Tillman. He's got to maintain his time out on the floor and avoid foul trouble. He's fouled out of 3 of the last 5 games. Meanwhile, for A&M, there's no surprise who you start with, and that's Tyler Davis. He has been the heart and soul of this team, and Robert Williams needs to get back to dominating 5 feet and in at both ends of the court.
Here's a look at the starters for Missouri. Jordan Geis will run the point. Graduate transfer Cassius Robertson, their main scorer on the perimeter. Robertson has been great on the road this year, 20 points a game and 48% from deep. Here's Geist. They leave him alone, and he pulls the 3. Rebounded by Tyler Davis. Expect plenty of those today. He's coming off of another double-double. He had 20 and 12 Tuesday against Ole Miss. Perimeter shooting was good for the Aggies in the first half against Ole Miss. They hit 4 of their first 8. Can't stretch the D with that one, and the ball into the hands of Cassius Robertson. Jordan Barnett will fire, and he drills his first attempt.
That is a scouting report error by DJ Hogue. There's no doubt about it in transition. Where Jordan Barnett wants to get is to the wing, and you've got to be there on the catch. And DJ Hogue, lazy in his closeout.
And as a shooter, he should probably know, right?
So watch this as the throw ahead. Look at how late he is to his closeout, how much space he gave Jordan Barnett. If you want to take Jordan Barnett and make him less effective, here's a great way to do it. Make him put it on the ground to get to his shot. His efficiency drops dramatically.
Big time rebound by Jeremiah Tillman. Missouri is a very patient offensive team. One of the bottom 20 in college basketball in pace. But they are also top 20 in efficiency, thanks in large part to the 3-ball. Barnett active on D, gets his hands on another one.
It's been a great season for Missouri from beyond the arc. And Billy Kennedy's team has an awareness. They have to close out to the shooters on the outside. A historic pace so far for this Missouri Tigers team from deep.
A win Tuesday for the Aggies, their first conference win of the season for a team that was picked to finish in the top 5. Look at that. Jeremiah Tillman with the foul. Billy Kennedy in his 7th season as the head man here in Aggieland. Coach of the year in 2016. They went to the Sweet 16. You mentioned the foul trouble for Jeremiah Tillman. He averages 7.5 fouls called against him per 40 minutes of play.
You know what's problematic about that, Tom? Is you're only allowed 5.
Yes, that would be an issue. He's fouled out of 2 of the last 3.
Well, the big thing for him is avoiding the silly foul. And there have been instances, and I know Coach Martin has addressed this and talked about it publicly, where he feels as if Jeremiah Tillman isn't being awarded the same kind of physicalness that other bigs in the conference have been allowed to play with. That first foul, though, is reaching in and being out of position instead of having your hands straight up and straight down. It's an easy one for the officials to call.
Jontay Porter looking inside, nothing there. Shot clock dwindling. Robertson challenge, finds Porter, goes to his offhand, and Missouri couldn't get a good look. Wayne Wilson, a transfer from Marquette, runs the point for Texas A&M, still trying to recover from a knee injury, not quite 100%.
And what did Coach Martin tell us about that shot for Robert Williams? So he wants to see that all day long. Make jump shots. They do not want him around the basket.
Better job by Hogue closing out that time?
A little bit.
Wilson off the mark, and this one will belong to Missouri. Gonzo Martin in his first season in the Show Me State, averaging 21 wins per season. Had a 3-year run at Cal, 3 years on Rocky Top, and 3 years down at Missouri State and Springfield before that.
have a feeling he's going to be at Missouri a lot longer than 3 years.
I think you're right.
He's done a tremendous job in his first season as far as changing the culture and creating a new identity for Missouri basketball. Some of the pieces that Kim Anderson had in this program are good quality pieces, like Kevin Puryear up top. Jordan Barnett, another one of his guys. But the buy-in factor to the defensive end of the floor, the commitment made there, and the elevation of expectation has been dramatic this season.
Well, it's pretty simple. If you don't play defense or rebound for Cuonzo Martin, you're not going to play in the game. They'll let Robert Williams shoot from there. He is 0 for 5 on the season from deep.
And that's settling. And that's what I talk about. You want to dominate 5 feet and in if you're Robert Williams. You're trying to prove to people you can shoot. Don't worry about proving to people you can shoot. Dominate the basketball game, doing what you do best.
Ball handling a concern for Missouri with this lineup on the floor. Shot clock at 4. Terrence Phillips trying to step through the double. Barnett. And Puryear crashing it hard, kept it alive. Missouri has started this game 1 for 7 from the floor. Texas A&M is 0 for 5. Neither team has an offensive rebound.
There's been plenty to be grabbed.
I think this thing might go to penalty kicks. Tyler Davis. What is it with you and me, Farnham? We can't get any offense early in the games. We got a bunch of rock fights lately, and the rocks are missing. Cuonzo Martin doesn't mind this tempo. Defensive battle early.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get back to 100%.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
All right, how you doing?
Welcome. So, this is the all-new Chevy Traverse. What do you think?
This looks better than 99% of the SUVs out there.
It's very modern, sleek.
Maybe the most impressive part of the all-new Traverse is what's on the inside.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I've missed you guys. I haven't seen you guys in so long.
What's happening?
We flew her out. It's a family car. We had to put your family in it.
Yeah, it gets 7 thumbs up.
Celtics Clippers at 10:30 Wednesday on ESPN.
Texas A&M would be an understatement. 11-1 with an early season win against the West Virginia team that's a top 5 team. But they've had to do it with personnel out of many games for a variety of reasons. And then heartbreaking losses to LSU and Kentucky. LSU hit a buzzer beater to beat them in a 2-point win against Ole Miss Tuesday, in which the Rebels buzzer beater rimmed out. A lot of adversity on the floor and off the floor for Billy Kennedy's team here this year.
A lot of self-inflicted wounds. And it starts with that guy, number 1, DJ Hogue. As a junior, you remember he was part of a team that had Alex Caruso, who right now is dunking on people for the Lakers and helping them get a victory last night without Lonzo Ball against the Pacers. DJ Hogue understands when you get suspended multiple times in one season, you're not just impacting yourself, you're impacting everybody out on the floor. While you may not think it's a big deal, the inconsistencies from your choices as an upperclassman send a message through everybody else. Just like when Alex Caruso was here and how hard he played was a big part of why that team turned around its season and went all the way to the Sweet 16.
By the way, that was also a team that had a hefty losing streak in conference play. They lost 6 in a row and then won 6 straight to share the SEC title with Kentucky. Corner 3 skips off. Reed Nico now on the floor for Missouri. Couldn't find it. Still 0 offensive rebound.
And Tom, I can speak from experience. I had a player by the name of Jelani McCoy, who's the all-time leading shot blocker at UCLA, and he did it in 2 years. My sophomore year, he got suspended multiple times and eventually was dismissed from the team. It changed our entire season. We didn't nearly accomplish what we could have accomplished that year. And for Texas A&M, inside this locker room, you've got to look around. And DJ's not the only one that's been suspended this year. Robert Williams has been suspended. J.J. Caldwell's been suspended. Starks has been suspended. At what point in time do the guys in the locker room look at each other and say, hey, you know what? We need to hold ourselves accountable in order to get back to the success that we were having earlier this year instead of believing that that success meant something.
check that soapbox when you travel or carry on?
When here, I checked it.
Hogue gives it up. Advantage inside Davis. Great defense by Puryear, and it'll stay this direction with 10 seconds on the shot clock. That was also an A&M team, that Sweet 16 team that had plenty of NBA and pro talent on it.
Yeah, Daniel House, Jalen Jones. But the leadership of this group, it comes from Tyler Davis, who just checked out of the game. Tyler's a very positive player. He wants to encourage his teammates at all times. But sometimes as a leader, you can't encourage. You've got to be real with where this team is at and where they need to get to.
Blocked inside by Jeremiah Tillman. Cullen Van Leer has entered the game for Missouri. TJ Starks on the floor now for A&M. Barnett had it taken. Barnett will try to drive and lost it. Texas A&M basketball. ESPN Saturday Showcase continues tonight at 6 Eastern. Baylor goes to Kansas to take on the 10th-ranked Jayhawks. And at 8:15, a big one in this conference, Florida and number 18, Kentucky. Tonight on ESPN, also available, as always, on the ESPN app. Where does Kentucky's season stand right now?
It's cloudy. It's cloudy with potential clearing ahead, because one of the big problems right now that they're still trying to figure out is, without Quade Green, if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets into foul trouble, it really limits the ball handling that they have. Now, Jared Vanderbilt making his first appearance the other night against South Carolina. There were flashes during that game where you saw the promise of a difference maker. And I truly believe by the time we get to St. Louis for the conference tournament, Tom, that's exactly what he will be for the Kentucky Wildcats.
A couple of buckets for Admon Gilder. He's got 5 of A&M's 7.
And it's good to see him getting back into a rhythm and flow. Missed some times with the knee injury. He was out here before everybody else getting shots up.
Missouri, meanwhile, has missed its last 7 field goal attempts. Make it 8 now. The Tigers haven't scored a bucket in almost 6 minutes. It's the Missouri team that trailed Arkansas by 18. Came back to tie it late before the Razorbacks pulled it out a week ago. Smooth-looking jumper from Tony Trocha-Morelos.
Well, just beautiful offense that time. You had a couple ball reversals, a screen down. You have a shooter curling off who's in a good rhythm. Defense steps a little bit too much, and you find somebody open for a clean look.
9-0 Aggie run. They've done it with their defense. Jonte Porter gets cut off. Nobody there. And now out to Van Leer. And it goes, and he's fouled. Cullen Van Leer, just 29% from deep, and has a chance for a 4-point play.
Great job defensively, plugging the gap. And then on the closeout, you've just got to maintain control. Go straight up and straight down in that moment. Freshman mistake by Flagg. And able to knock down the shot and get an opportunity for a 4-point play. And you mentioned the struggles that Missouri's having. Just 2 of 11 from the field to start this game, Tom.
TJ Starks lost it on his way in. Shot clock at 5. TJ Starks again drives. Porter brings it down.
A really good box out that time by Jonte Porter, putting a body on Robert Williams, extending him away, not allowing him to get that rebound.
Cassius Robertson. What a save. Jonte Porter blindly to Robertson. He still can't knock it down.
Great hustle by number 11.
Nobody else touched it there until the offensive rebound, and it's put in by Robert Williams for his first bucket.
What happened there was Porter had to close out to the shooter, causing the air ball, and it was a great job helping defensively. But nobody helped him, and it allowed Robert Williams to get that position inside and able to finish.
Missouri has made just one of its last 11. Porter trying to float it to Tillman, and he gets whistled for an offensive foul. Dante Porter's first. Missouri's got 6 points on the board in the first 9 minutes.
Tuesday, it's Rock Chalk versus freshman phenom.
Trae Young is so far ahead of the pack.
In a Sonic blockbuster. Number 10 Kansas takes on number 4 Oklahoma, Tuesday at 7 on ESPN.
We have an advantage in the post, okay? In the post. We got to give ourselves a chance in the post. I don't have any problem with you taking those shots at 10 seconds or less. You can get that. We're going to get that same shot because they're not going out and guarding us out there, all right? We got to be able to give it a chance to get a post touch.
Strength of the Aggies offense belongs inside with Robert Williams and Tyler Davis, but sometimes, as Billy Kennedy was saying, they settle.
And this is a prime example of it. You know, the defense is giving you a shot. Why are they giving you that shot, Tom? Because they don't believe that you're going to make that shot with any level of consistency. And so you've got to be smarter in recognizing that, turn that one down, and work and believe in the offense that it'll find you in a place where you can be successful.
By the way, you like these Aggies uniforms they're wearing tonight?
I do.
Throwbacks to the 1969 Aggie team, coached by Shelby Metcalf. They went to the NCAA tournament. They won the Southwest Conference, and Aggie fans would like it noted that they beat Texas twice that year. TJ Starks.
Aggie fans would also probably like to note that West Virginia thumped Texas today.
Yeah, and it's a Texas team that's flirting with the bubble.
It's college basketball. You see so many of those games this year. And look at the Pac-12 and how unsettled that conference has become. A Stanford team that literally lost to 2 Big Sky opponents, Eastern Washington and then Portland State on a neutral floor at the PK80, is tied for first place going into today's game against Arizona at home.
Well, back to West Virginia. This is a Mountaineer team that started the season 15-1. Their lone loss came in Germany to this Texas A&M squad. That is a signature win for the Aggies. It looks better each and every day. Trosha Morelos from deep.
And he has the ability to step out and knock down that shot. It hasn't been consistent enough this season, but good offense again, attacking the paint, bringing the defense to you, and opening up the three-point shot for your teammates.
Where does Missouri find offense? I don't think that's the one they want.
No, it's got to be coming off of number 3's fingertips right now. You got to get him engaged in the game. Robertson is 0 for 3 from the field, and not a lot of his looks have been very clean.
Missouri has started this game shooting 3 for 15. Here's J.J. Chandler, freshman out of Katy, Texas. The lefty puts it up too strong, and Cullen Van Leer with the rebound. One of the issues now with Missouri's offense is Cassius Robertson is a primary ball handler with these 5 on the floor.
Well, some of the same things we were talking about Robert Williams. Jeremiah Tillman can knock down that shot, but there's a reason why you're open to take that after one pass into the offense.
Robertson draws a foul on TJ Starks. Super Tuesday features a Big 12 Sonic blockbuster this week. Number 10, Kansas taking on Trae Young and Oklahoma. Jayhawks have won the last 4 in the series. Sooners try to break that streak in Norman. Tuesday, 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. How about this dude? 48 today in the Bedlam game against Oklahoma State. He only had 8 assists, still leading the country in assists.
But it came in a loss, and Oklahoma all of a sudden loses back-to-back games. People start wondering what's going on. We saw the 12 turnover outing last time he took the floor. Turnovers are too high. Defenses are going to continue to crawl into him, try to be physical with him, knock him off his line, make him less productive, make him have to shoot a higher volume of shots to get to his numbers.
We don't think of Trae Young being a great defender, do we? But I heard a great line last week that Trae Young is the only guy out there to hold Michael Porter under 20 points a game. They were AAU teammates, and so Young had more shots. There's the injured Missouri star, only played 2 minutes in the opener against Iowa State. 5th-ranked NBA draft prospect. And the questions remain, will Michael Porter suit up again for Missouri this season? Here's Barnett with the dig. Shot clock violation. No sense of urgency.
If Texas A&M, though, can play with that sense of urgency at the defensive end every single possession, Tom, watch how much better and how many more W's you're going to start seeing for the Aggies. That was an outstanding defensive possession. They helped. They recovered. They were there on the catch. They pressured the basketball. They did not give a clean look or an opportunity for the entire shot clock to the Missouri Tigers.
Coach Morelos has hit 2 of 3 from deep. Well, Billy Kennedy told us today that he went back and watched some of the film from earlier this season, including the Oklahoma State win. And he said, I wanted to get a feel for what we were doing right early this year. And what they were doing right, he said, was play defense with that exact phrase, a sense of urgency. And Barnett dribbles it off of his foot.
But just not the strength of his game. Trying to make plays off the bounce, that benefits the defense if you're going against Jordan Barnett.
3rd turnover for Jordan Barnett. A&M as a team has turned it over only once. Gonzo Martin continues to shuffle his lineup. Going with Nico and Porter on the inside now, along with Puryear. It's a pretty big lineup for Mizzou. That's Porter, I guess, at the 3 now. Size advantage, Morelos at 6'10", and Geis tied him up.
Well, Billy Kennedy wanted the action to come from inside and scoring in production there, but little dribble drag, stretch 4, knock it in.
My husband's probably going to think I'm crazy. He thinks I'm going to see my sister.
Sometimes the confidence to be spontaneous starts with financial stability.
Once I heard it, I was shocked. I just thought, I have to go get it. It's our dream.
See how a personalized financial strategy and access to JP Morgan investment expertise can help you. Chase, make more of what's yours.
I think heroic deeds were all conceived in the open air. I think whatever I shall meet on the road I shall like. And whoever beholds me shall like me. I think whoever I see must be happy.
Zubin, that is insane. But when Lon Kruger recruited in Oklahoma, he promised him freedom. He's got freedom. How about your news and notes?
How about Purdue and just how outstanding they've been? They thumped Iowa today, 18-0 in the United States. All those losses came in the battle for Atlantis. Billy Preston leaves to go play overseas for KU, and the Air Force canceled its basketball game against Fresno State because of what happened at midnight last night in Washington, D.C. The government shutdown. They've canceled all their sporting events for this weekend as a direct correlation to the decisions that have been made in Washington.
That's the first I heard of that after traveling and then attending practices today. What's the future look like for the Air Force Academy and the other academies in that regard? Will they suit up?
The other academies actually kept their games today, and everything will be evaluated just based on the fact of travel that was already made and booked prior to the shutdown taking place last night.
There's Nico inside for his first bucket.
Again, you talk about best teams in college basketball right now. Purdue has got to continue to get more and more credit for the way that they are playing and their ability to execute at both ends. Dan Dockich did a great job today with Dave Fleming on the call of that game in Iowa, and it was over quick. It wasn't one of those where you It was in doubt. They were in control right away, and Carson Edwards, 22 points, 8 assists for the Boilermakers. And you put him with Vincent Edwards, those two combined on the outside, their ability to defend, to rebound the basketball. And there's a lot of thought process to start thinking, you know what? They could be in San Antonio, Texas when it's all said and done this year.
It's Gonzo Martin's former teammate, Matt Painter, getting it done for Purdue, his former school. 15 consecutive wins now for the Boilermakers.
Earlier this week, I named them my United States heavyweight champion so far. Just from the standpoint, they're the only team in the country not to lose in the country this year.
Hogue thought about it, and here's Tyler Davis. The double comes off of Hogue, and he can't make him pay. Robertson finally draws a foul after going through about 4 different Aggies and losing his shoe. It's the first on Hogue. It's a 17-10 score. Sean, remember when we called the Missouri-Georgia game?
Yes.
Was that a week ago Tuesday? Wednesday? A week ago Wednesday? And Missouri-Georgia basketball got outscored by Missouri-Georgia football in the first half.
Are we on that pace again, Tom? Is that what you're saying?
We're close to it. I can look up the last time the Tigers and Aggies met on the gridiron.
Here's part of it. I mean, I think they're just kind of thinking their shots instead of just letting it fly. You've got to let it fly. Just catch the ball, go right into your rhythm, and get up and off your fingertips and hold it through. Shoot it with confidence. And both teams right now have missed some good shots. I mean, it's not like some of it's been the defense. But, Tom, some of it also is just drifting, missing shots, not having the foundation where you want it to be.
It's a Missouri team that came into this game top 20 in the country in offensive efficiency. Robert Williams, nice move.
It's all day. If he can get there and post up and you feed him and you give him space and they don't bring a double team, that is a shot that should be knocked down at least 60% of the time.
Robertson got away with a walk. TJ Starks. And it's shoved in by Williams, who draws the foul.
Again, work rate, energy, all on the side of Texas A&M so far this afternoon, Tom. Robert Williams comes outside of your pitcher and gets right to the rim. There is no possible way that through the scouting report or any discussions that Missouri had prior to this game that you're going to allow a clean lane for Robert Williams to get there in front of you.
He has less than a third of the Aggies' points. There's Geist finishing.
Tyler Davis almost turned that one over, falling inbounds. Good defense by Geist to jump in front of Starks. Now, I would go right back to Robert Williams and try to post him up.
Hogue has it stripped on his way in. Nico deep, and it's blocked by Tyler Davis. And it's saved on the baseline. TJ Starks trying to shake. And the lob. High percentage look, Robert Williams.
What I loved there was TJ Starks' change of pace, change of direction. He threw the bait and was able to hook Tillman and pull him away from the center of the floor to find Williams.
Admon Gilder commits his second personal foul, trying to get aggressive. Defense leads to offense. It's cliche, but it works.
It's great hustle, though, and it's the heart and soul of the team. Tyler Davis, the extra effort at one end of the floor, the throw up and the finish at the other.
I can see a lightning. Wendy's 4 for $4 just got better because now there's more variety with 8 sandwiches to choose from. So choose a 4 for $4 with a double stack, a crispy chicken sandwich, or any of these others, plus nuggets, fries, and a drink, all for just $4. So try all 8 and pick your favorite, only at Wendy's.
Yep.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Meanwhile, here in Aggieland, Texas A&M with a 10-point lead on Missouri. Let's go inside the play.
Now watch as the ball gets brought up the floor, and we're going to show you exactly how you can attack and bring the ball over to this area of the floor. What happens there is I want you to watch Jeremiah Tillman. He's there on your screen. As the dribble comes across, you drag the big with you. He vacates the center point, and that's what allows Robert Williams to finish. That is great offense and great awareness by T.J. Starks.
How about the decision to get it to the big when DJ Hogue was on the wing begging for it?
I'll take the high percentage look. Indeed. And a slam dunk from 44 in the paint over a 3.
Geist knocks them both down. Missouri having a hard time locating their offense. They're just 5 of 23 from the floor, less than 22% to open this game. Yet they're only down by 8. Geist scrapping. Savion flag, no. And Tillman is there. Jeremiah Tillman picked up a foul early, but nothing since. Geist penetrates, hangs, and hits. 4th straight for Jordan Geist.
What I like about Geist is he's not settling, Tom. He's attacking the interior presence, and the best way to make a shot blocker get back on his heels is to try to get into his body and get momentum downhill on him.
Geist played junior college ball for former Aggie coach Billy Gillespie. They went 35-3 in his last year at Ranger College. Something about that rim. That one.
What was your line the other night, too?
Well, if you're at a carnival and you miss it like that, the guy would feel bad for you and just give you a prize anyway. You'd still get the stuffed animal.
You go to nicer carnivals than I go to.
Butter them up a little bit. I just missed more shots than you did, that's all. So Tillman's got a bucket. Missouri's closed to within 4. They've made 4 of their last 7.
Partner, we went to Rockbridge. I heard the stories.
Tyler Davis. And Tillman whistle for the foul, and Gonzo Martin's going to work on the officials. Here's Missouri on offense.
Well, Geist, again, just very similar idea. In the on-ball screen situation, poor communication defensively. They both go with the ball. That's what opened up Tillman, and then that last shot that we showed you, the aggressiveness able to finish. The bigger thing for me is what Gonzo Martin right now is talking to the officials about, and that's the tap on the head fouls that get called against Jeremiah Tillman. First of all, they take him out of the game. Yeah. Second of all, he becomes less and less aggressive, and you don't want to change one of his greatest strengths in which he brings to the table for Missouri, and that is his physical nature.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Do you feel that the officials officiate Jeremiah Tillman than they do other bigs in this conference, or are other teams and matchups officiated differently than some of Missouri's matchups?
I think what happens is because of the reputation of Jeremiah Tillman now, you see teams trying to go after him. And they try to put him in a situation where he extends out a hand or there's a slight bump or a slight contact, and they're selling it, and they're getting those calls.
Porter, 3 seconds. Gonzo Martin should wear Nikes on the sideline the way he gets up and down.
Or at least a Fitbit.
Yeah.
Know how many steps he takes.
Coaches at the same intensity he played with. There's Tyler Davis inside. He has 5.
And that action's been good for them. The little screen at the elbow area and then the dive straight to the rim. Defensively, Missouri is staying with the ball a second too long. That second too long is opening up the space to finish.
Dejounte Porter going against a shot blocker. Plenty of pump fakes, and it's still blocked. And a flex from Tyler Davis afterwards. jumper, Wilson. And a foul on the rebound will go against Missouri and Cassius Robertson. Let's listen in to Billy Kennedy moments ago.
Good job on the glass, all right? Keep attacking on both ends. Great job down here. Great job down here. We get it. We want to push the ball. You overplayed. We worked on double cuts, pick up flash all week. Got to read it, all right? Good handoffs, all right? No weak handoff. Good job. Keep the pressure on them. Keep attacking.
Only thing stronger than Kennedy's coaching game today is his tie game. That would match your pocket square.
I'm probably going to ask him for that tie after the game's over.
If they get consecutive wins in the league, he's not going to give it to you. Foul on the other end will put Reed Nico at the free throw line for Missouri. Sophomore from Maple Grove, Minnesota, just 54% from the free throw line.
But overall, so far this half, defensively, one of the better halves I've seen from Texas A&M in recent weeks.
Came in as a great defensive team overall this season.
And during that slippage that they had in their losing streak, confidence gets lost, effort sometimes can dwindle, and they brought a good energy and a good focus here in the first half.
Hogue, no, yes! Tyler Davis with the foul. Missouri had fought hard to get it to a 4-point game, and the Aggies turned the defensive intensity up again. Guys forgot the basketball.
I love the hustle out of DJ Hogue there. Diving for the ball, being aggressive, providing energy, and that all comes from the aggressiveness of Tyler Davis. Hey, screaming, yelling, talking, communicating. It is infectious. And then watch DJ Hogue sell out to go down and try to get that ball. Hey, he starts making plays like that. I'm telling you, DJ Hogue becomes a different player. And yeah, he missed the layup, but watch Tyler Davis, the enthusiasm, the love, the passion for the game that he brings each and every contest for A&M.
7-second difference, shot clock, game clock roughly. Geis will get it going with 10 on the shot clock. Jonte Porter gives it up. Cassius Robertson with 5. Out to Geis. Missouri's got to hurry. Barnett off the mark. Aggies have one last shot to extend their lead. Wilson behind the screen of Morelos. Wide left. 29-20. Our score at the half in a defensive battle between the Aggies and the Tigers, and talking continuing as we go to the locker room. Let's get you Landover halftime report. On ESPN, Missouri and Texas A&M in a defensive battle in the first half, and a lengthy halftime as the officials wanted to sort through some end-of-half drama. After this last-second shot was missed, watch under the basket. Savion Flagg, number 5 in white, getting into it with Cassius Robertson of Missouri. Then Jordan Geis got involved, and he drew a shove from Dwayne Wilson. We've got multiple technicals. Once they got this all figured out after looking at the replay multiple times, we've got 3 technicals on 3 different players. Missouri will be shooting free throws. We just want to play basketball. How'd you think about the way that was officiated?
I think the officials did an outstanding job assessing the penalties. It started with Robertson and an elbow in the back of Savion Flagg, and that's what caused the original confrontation. It then bled over when Dwayne Wilson jumped in and shoved Geist. Offsetting technicals. Then the technical on Wilson leads to the 2 free throws. Possession arrow will not change, and it will be Missouri's basketball. The biggest thing maybe of note of this is A&M will start the second half with already 2 team fouls.
And Missouri will start with 1.
So if you're looking for Missouri, you struggle. You shot 26% from the field in the first half. Manufacture some points, get to the free throw line, be aggressive.
Also, as a result, Dwayne Wilson has 2 fouls. So does Savion Flagg as Missouri goes inside to Jeremiah Tillman. And Cassius Robertson also 2 personal fouls thanks to the technical.
And you see Jeremiah Tillman's strength, and they go to him right away. I think it's a great call out of the locker room by Conzo Martin to get him re-engaged in this contest.
Missouri turning it up on the defensive end. Here's Cassius Robertson. Gives it up. Geis for three. And a foul inside will go against DJ Hogue.
It was a soft attempt at one end by Hogue, and then coming back down, and he fouls and leads to more free throw opportunities for Missouri.
So Jordan Barnett, who started his college career here in the Lone Star State for Rick Barnes at Texas, now a senior out of St. Louis and CBC, played on a great AAU team in the summer, the St. Louis Eagles. They had guys like Jason Tatum back in the day, Bradley Beal and Tyler Hansbrough, David Lee, Larry Hughes.
Pretty good group of guys.
Not bad. By the way, just this week we lost one of the greats in St. Louis history, JoJo White. Longtime Boston Celtic, passed away, played his college ball at Kansas. There have been plenty of talent to come out of the St. Louis metro area, including Missouri coach Conzo Martin, across the river in East St. Louis. 3-ball too strong. Barnett trying to find it. Cassius Robertson comes out of there with it. That was about 25-minute halftime all told instead of a 15-minute halftime. What do you do as players with that extra 10 minutes in the locker room, you think?
We watch Zubin and Chris break it all down in the studio. What are you talking about? Come on. You know, man, Zubin in studio, setting the table for Chris, allowing him to knock it out of the park. And you start wondering, would I ever be allowed to shoot 38 shots like Trae Young did? I don't think I took 38 shots in my career at UCLA.
Floater, short. Tyler Davis, strong. And then Hogue finds an offensive rebound. What do you make of DJ Hogue's effort on both ends today?
It's been spotty. There's been moments where you've seen him dive for the loose ball and show a little toughness that time underneath. And then there's been other times he's been lost defensively and watching the ball and having to play catch up to who he's guarding. And the thing with the SEC this year, and you know this, Tom, as well as anybody, 25% of all the SEC games have come down to be one-possession games. So you take off one possession in the first half, and it might be 4 minutes into the game. With the way things have gone this year, it could determine the outcome of the contest.
Half of the Aggies' 6 SEC games have come down to the final possession. Robertson. Missouri having a real tough time from behind the arc. 2 of 12 on the day. 0 for 3 in this half. Geis went for the steal. Knocked the headband off Dwayne Wilson. And Sean, you brought up a great point when we were talking during that extended halftime. The way those technicals were assessed before the end of the half sent a message as to what you could get away with in this second half.
And I think that's the control factor of it. And, you know, you go back and say, well, why even assess the 2 technicals to Cassius Robertson and Savion Flagg? And the reason why you do it is because if something happens in the second half and those 2 guys are involved in it, they're now going to have to leave the court. And it makes sure that everybody goes into the locker room, coming out of the locker room, understands exactly what your limitations are and how you have to play.
Tyler Davis
takes the bait.
Yeah.
If someone is guarding you and they're standing 15 feet away, it probably means they don't believe you're making that shot.
Per year, they're able to get the whistle and the foul, much to the disdain of the home crowd.
Remember going to the locker room, how everything seemingly was on Texas A&M's side. They were getting the 50-50 balls. They were being aggressive. And look at, you see the distance between these two? Far too much of a distance between those two to believe that either one of them believes that Tyler Davis is making that shot. But going back to my point, A&M had all the momentum going to the break. They come out of the break. They've got 2 fouls on the board. Now it's already up to 4. And we're just a little bit over 3 minutes into the second half. And Missouri's doing exactly what I told you they should do. They're being aggressive. They're moving with a sense of purpose. They're attacking the interior of Texas A&M, and they're manufacturing offense.
Aggies just 1 of 7 from the floor this half.
Missouri's just 1 of 5. But the difference, Tom, is 5 of 6 from the free throw line.
Tillman keeps it alive. Cassius Robertson finds it. Robertson got it. And Missouri's right back in this game thanks to the first triple of the night from Cassius Robertson. timeout, Billy Kennedy.
Well, the energy and the focus right now is on the guys from Como. Cassius Robertson from beyond the arc.
We started designing pop-up cards in our basement.
What's cool is, today, we have 400 people working across the globe. With Office 365, we can all stay connected, from Vietnam to Boston to New York.
Now with Whiteboard, we can all work together at the same time.
And 3D and PowerPoint shows clients exactly what our cards look like.
Yeah, having everyone working together on the new Teams app is really awesome.
Seeing all these people react to our cards, that's what makes it all worth it.
The only reason I told you, because I thought you was going to handle it.
I got you.
Do you?
The Shot. New episode tonight at 10. Only on Showtime. Start your free trial.
He was going to be allowed to do when he got to Oklahoma. And look, I can understand people talking about efficiency and quality of shots and the turnovers this week in particular for the talented freshman that still leads the nation in points per game and assists per game. But without Trae Young playing the way he plays, with the freedom he plays with, are they number 4 in the country?
No chance. And he's responsible for so many points a game. Not only does he score, but his assists. He set the NCAA record for a single game in assists earlier this season. And there's an assist as Missouri now takes the lead on the bucket by Puryear.
A beautiful drive baseline, forced the defense on the back line to shift to the ball, vacating their spot, and a beautiful pass. And Kevin Puryear gets the easy layup.
It's the first lead for the Tigers since they're up 3-0. Remember, a week ago, Missouri came back from an 18-point deficit on the road at Arkansas, but couldn't hold on. Hogue puts A&M back in front.
I think sometimes we react. Oh, team lost a couple games. Oh, Purdue lost 2 games down in Atlantis. Uh-oh.
Oh, Arizona lost 3.
Uh-oh. Like we're so quick to react to what's going on. The end of the day is this. Trae Young is the face of college basketball. Before today's game, he's the face of college basketball moving forward from today's game.
In traffic, an extra pass to Tyler Davis.
Now, with that said, I think there's other players in the game that we're not giving enough attention to. Jalen Brunson would be one of them from Villanova. Had 23 points today, and on the season, Tom, on the season, he's shooting 58% from the field and 48% from deep, and has a 5-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio.
That was a 20-point win for Villanova against UConn today. They held UConn to 18 points in the first half. Jontay Porter spins and draws a foul on Hogue. That is now the 3rd on DJ Hogue.
Well, good interior passing. They've always had that at Texas A&M, and Tyler Davis trying to get the offense going for the Aggies.
Williamson,
a freak athlete, one of the most unique players I've seen in a long time.
When you get that breakaway steal and everybody in the crowd stands up, their phones and stuff, you're up in the air, can't do nothing but smile. I'm looking around like, yeah, okay, I just did that.
Williamson has a lot of time to look around when he's up in the air. The product out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, the #2 overall recruit in the ESPN 100. And he will announce his college choice tonight on ESPN2 between 8 and 8:15. Cassius Robertson to the rim for Missouri. So it's in ESPN2 tonight. And there's a lot of different schools involved, but not just the Blue Bloods. Frank Martin in South Carolina are involved. Brad Brownell and Clemson are considered finalists as well. What do you think?
I think he's going to stay in the state of South Carolina. To be honest, I'd be shocked right now if he didn't. And I think that everything in the recent weeks has indicated that Clemson might have a little bit of a lead But I do know this. He was in the building last Tuesday to watch South Carolina and Frank Martin knock off Kentucky on their home floor in front of a great crowd that night. And then subsequently after that, I believe that there was the final pitch made by the Gamecocks. So good little momentum for them in the final week. I think Trae Young's kind of changed the way we think about where kids are going and where they're playing. And I think the idea of staying home and leaving your mark in your state, your region, there's something to that.
Tillman reverses it in. Well, not only that, but those elite recruits also going away from Blue Bloods, whether it was Ben Simmons or Michael Porter Jr., to sign with programs where either they have family connections or, as you mentioned, hometown connection, just like Trae Young at Oklahoma. And having the freedom then within those offenses to do what they want to do to grow their game. Well, this Missouri offense, Sean, would have looked much different with Michael Porter on the floor, not just as a scorer, but it would have been a totally different movement offense.
Well, and the way they would have structured as far as coming up and setting the screen with Jonte Porter up so high, that wouldn't happen with Michael Porter. They'd run a screen away and try to get Michael Porter coming towards the ball. That was some of the stuff they were doing when I was around the team, watching them practice back in early October. But, you know, Ben Simmons, when he went to LSU, that experiment kind of failed. They didn't make the NCAA tournament, and he got a lot of attention, but it didn't work from a team perspective.
It failed if you are a college basketball fan or involved with LSU. It didn't fail for Ben Simmons, considering the success he's having in the NBA.
Correct. After redshirting in the professional ranks, he's been outstanding. Yes. All right, but I think it's going to work out for Michael Porter, too. Whether he plays at Missouri this year and leaves or whatnot, it's not going to impact what he does at the next level. But as far as brand and building your brand, has any player done more than Trae Young this year?
No. He's even eclipsing what Buddy Hield did over an entire career at Oklahoma. And he's doing it in, what, 3 months so far?
So, again, I think it's opened up the door for players like Zion to say, you know what? Look at all the love he's getting, staying at home, being that guy, getting the attention of changing a program or changing a culture. And Zion Williamson will have that same opportunity tonight. Doesn't mean the Blue Bloods are out of it. Obviously, Kentucky's very much in it, as well as Kansas, North Carolina. But my feeling is he stays in the state of Clemson. Stays in the state of South Carolina.
Between 8 and 8:15 on ESPN2. Meanwhile, this guy's a big-time scorer inside. Just a freshman, Jeremiah Tillman for Missouri, and his classmate Michael Porter Jr. excited. Back to the SEC on ESPN from Aggieland, where Texas A&M is looking for its second consecutive SEC victory. Let's listen in to Billy Kennedy. We've got him wired. Here's the A&M head coach moments ago.
We got to get our energy back on the defensive end, all right? Got to have energy, all right? If you're tired, I'm going to get somebody in for you. I got to see energy. I got to see more energy on the defensive end. We got to believe.
Sometimes it might be tough to believe when you've lost 5 out of your last 6. They snapped that SEC losing streak at the buzzer against Ole Miss on Tuesday. And look at this big one, and an injury now to T.J. Starks. Good to see him hopping up immediately.
A good crossover, reject the on-ball screen, and then protect and finish with his away hand. You wonder if he's going to be able to continue to be that explosive. I think what happens is in young point guards out there, you say, okay, he rejected the screen. But how is that so effective? Well, what is the read there? You're reading the body language of the defense. If the defense is leaning in towards the screen, you reject the screen, you're going to get to your spot quicker than the defensive players. They're going to have to rotate their hips. And once they open up their hips, it's over. You've already got them beat.
Barnett rips down the rebound.
Zone defense here by the Aggies out of the timeout. It's important, as Coach Kennedy was talking about, energy within the zone.
Ball fake Robertson. Left it short. Puryear another offensive board. And a fresh shot clock for Missouri. ESPN Saturday Showcase continues tonight at 6 Eastern. Baylor's in Lawrence to take on number 10 Kansas. Then at 8:15, a Saturday primetime game right here in the SEC. Mike White's Florida Gators on the road to take on number 18 Kentucky tonight on ESPN and also available on the ESPN app.
Oh, we got free throws coming, partner.
Well, I'm glad we do because it gives me a chance to talk about how Missouri and Kansas should still be playing. You know, James Naismith was 0-2 all-time against Missouri. They played every year for 105 years, Sean.
Okay.
How great was it that they got together in Kansas City this year? They raised millions in a sold-out Sprint Center. Millions for charity.
Raising money is great. Playing it when it matters would be even better.
Wouldn't it, though? First met in 1907. They haven't met since Missouri left the Big 12, even though Kansas has faced other teams that left the conference, including Colorado and Nebraska. It's almost like there's a rivalry there or something.
Hey, look, I think it's been better, right? College basketball this year in particular has done a nice job scheduling. And you look at the SEC, about 13 of the 14 teams with strength of schedules in the top 100 national. People want to know why the SEC has continued to garner the attention from Joe Lunardi and bracketology, and Starks with once again a nice finish inside the paint, utilizing his upper body strength to absorb contact and finish. Geist having a difficult time staying in front of him right now.
How about TJ Starks? He's just a freshman. You mentioned his strength. 6'2", 202, got a chance for another and one. He was scoreless in the first half. And Starks now has second here in the second half to extend the Aggies' lead to 4. Cassius Robertson forced into point guard duty for Missouri. We haven't seen much of Terrence Phillips tonight. Phillips played just 2 minutes in the first half. Shot clock at 5. Robertson off balance 3, an air ball.
Yeah, really good possession. The energy level out of that timeout. The message has been received by A&M. Better energy at the defensive end gives better energy to your offense, gives more aggressiveness to your offense. And I like a couple of adjustments they've made. They've gone to the zone in the half court, but the extension of pressure also mandates that you play at a higher clip.
Freshman feeling it a little bit. And Van Leer gets in the way just enough for Tyler Davis to lose it. Tigers 1 for 7 from deep and 5 for 16 overall in the second half.
If we go away from Tillman there, I would have brought the ball back and countered and looked to try to get it down low.
Puryear posting hard. Southpaw going to work on Trosha Morelos. And look at Savion Flagg pull down another board. This is a really good freshman class for Texas A&M. Flagg tried to dump it. It would stay this direction. One of the issues that Billy Kennedy had when they got back to full strength, this is just their 5th game overall this season with all parties available for a variety of reasons, is the frustration that some of the younger guys had when their minutes disappeared.
Well, and that's the difficult thing, because when you recruit at this level for both of these programs, you come in, everybody on the roster was all league, all area, all state. And non-conference, you're a little bit more free-flowing with your substitution pattern as you're trying to find out what the role is that everybody's going to have. A double-double now for Tyler Davis with that make.
His 7th double-double of the year.
But as conference play comes, your bench usually gets a little tighter. Your minutes a little few and far between, especially early in your career. I always tell young players, you want to get more minutes, play defense.
Porter took a bump and was falling away.
Too often they focus on their offense. Man, if I score, coach is going to keep me out there. Nah, if you get stops, coach is going to keep you out on the floor. Trust me. They'll get the offense.
Meanwhile, very little offense for Missouri tonight. Still down only 6. Crochet Morelos, and a foul before the shot will be on Geist. And his second. Has Missouri shown you anything offensively today which would suggest that they could get it going and convert on multiple trips consecutively?
No. I mean, there's been no rhythm.
Fair answer.
There's been improper spacing, guys rushing shots. There hasn't been a consistency and a willingness to, okay, we're going to feed Jeremiah Tillman down low on the block for back-to-back possessions and see if they can collapse the defense to get something open on the outside. Jontay Porter having a very quiet game so far. He's 0 for 7 from the field. Hasn't scored.
By the way, that is the 4th on Jeremiah Tillman, so he'll have to take a seat. Terrence Phillips has only played 2 minutes today. He replaces Geist. And then Jontay Porter back on the floor for Missouri.
And Tom, I mean, Missouri shooting 26.7% from the floor. And they're still very much so in this game.
Aggies started this half 1 for 9. They got hot. They've made 6 of their last 8. Beautiful cut. What a find by Hogue. And TJ Starks now has 9 points this half. Here's Porter, 0 for 7. Now per year. Muscle move to the window. Crochet Morelos going one-on-one. What a bucket.
A little dream shake on the baseline. Not that far from Houston.
Terrence Phillips straws the foul on J.J. Chandler. How about it?
Rhythm and flow offensively, Tom. Sometimes it's fun to watch. Made baskets. I like it personally. Back-to-back possessions where the Aggies are able to finish. Eight-point lead for the Aggies. Watch this offense right here. You're going to have a cut, and he's going to be right there open. Now, the biggest thing you've got to watch is here. You've got to pinch over, and you've got to help. Why? Because you're guarding a guy that is so far away from the basketball on a skip pass, you'd be able to get there. You don't move if you're Cassius Robertson. You give the lane. Jontay Porter gets caught in no man's land, and it's an easy layup. But, again, basic principles. You're 2 passes away. You've got to get to the middle of the floor. Cassius Robertson 2 steps away from where he should have been. He could have even chugged on the cutter and then still recovered back to his man on a skip pass.
First point for Terrence Phillips. Phillips has a pair. Sean, it's only a 6-point lead for Texas A&M, and I don't know that Missouri could play any worse offensively.
Well, what they're trying to do is replicate South Carolina's performance at Georgia.
Follow tip by Robert Williams.
And of course, what I'm alluding to there is South Carolina became the first Power 5 conference team in the last 20 years to win on the road, shooting 27% or worse, and found a win. And right now, that's about where Missouri's at. They just got to 28% shooting on the day.
Jontay Porter for 3.
He's now 0 for 8.
Well, South Carolina, that's their identity. They like to muck it up. Frank Martin's going to coach hard on both ends of the floor. Missouri, even though their tempo is the bottom 10 or 15 in the country, their offensive efficiency is top 20. And if you look at the KenPom numbers, Hogue gets inside.
Well,
there are more teams.
Go ahead. I know what you're. I'm going to go back to that, but that's the exact same play I just showed you. And Cassius Robertson is so far out of position, he is not getting to his spot. I would keep running screens away from him because he's not going to be there in the help side position right now.
Jordan Barnett for three. Got it. Big shot. That's Barnett's only basket. The second basket 42 seconds in. Since then, he had been 0 for 4. Here's what you're talking about.
And you watch the screen, and Cassius Robertson, look at him. Cheat over. You're too late. You've already lost.
Let's take a look at today's Wendy's One Watch. Devontae Graham for Kansas and Trae Young for Oklahoma will go head-to-head Tuesday, 7 o'clock on ESPN.
Senior versus freshman, both of them so vital to their team's successes. Kansas has struggled a little bit at the defensive end of the floor. In that contest, you're going to see somebody try to get Trae Young again to shoot a high volume of shots, try to limit his assist making.
Well, he's got to get some help from his teammates. The other big three teammates on the floor for Trae Young went 7 for 27 for 12 points in their loss to Oklahoma State today. Tillman playing with 4 fouls, back on the floor with under 6 to go. And he's able to draw the foul as Trocha Morelos lost his balance.
And he's laying on the floor.
Yeah, it's tough to play defense on the floor. 19th foul on Texas A&M. Missouri will have a chance to climb back into this from the free throw line as they have this half. They've been 9 of 10 from the line since the break. Tonight after college basketball, don't miss SportsCenter to have a full recap and post-game interviews from the Thunder-Cavs matchup. Also, high school phenom Zion Williamson announces his college choice live during the show. And the top moments from a very busy college basketball Saturday tonight after Tennessee, South Carolina on ESPN2 and streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
And you looked at that OKC Cleveland game that came in with LeBron James needing just 25 points to eclipse the 30,000 point mark, and it's more been like the Thunder trying to score 30,000 points. They're up 131 to 103 right now. Westbrook with 21 points and 19 assists on the game.
Can they share some of that offense with us?
Yes, I'd appreciate that very much.
Tillman had it redirected by Robert Williams.
Defense, not only an issue for Kansas, it's an issue for the Cavs. Boy, have they been bad lately.
There's always drama around that team, isn't there?
And then at the end of the year, where do they end up?
Barnett left his feet, turns it over. Tillman is fouled out. Jeremiah Tillman done with 4:18 to go. It's the 4th time he's fouled out in the last 6 games.
And again, when you go back and watch the film, there are some that you could question. But there are others where he's just got to work harder and get himself in a little bit better position and make sure he's not playing with his upper body.
Upper left.
And that forearm is down low and his arms underneath Robert Williams. It's a good call.
Cuonzo Martin's point, we talked to him about some of that stuff, obviously off camera and in the locker room before the game, is he has a feeling that a play like that with other teams in this league wouldn't be officiated that way. Do you agree with that?
I think there's been games that I've seen and I've called that haven't had that particular foul called.
Not that it means it is or isn't a foul. It's
right. No.
The consistency of officiating.
But what you're looking at is not the consistency of how another crew would call that. What you're looking for is the consistency in which your crew is calling the game. And I think this crew's been very consistent in their calls, whether you like them or not.
The presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get back to 100%.
Yeah.
Zoo, and thanks. We have a pretty good season, pretty good week for Chris Silva. Meanwhile, in the Battle of the Bigs, dominated by the Aggies today.
And when we came on the open of the broadcast, I said the guys that would be able to dominate the interior presence in 5 feet and in particular, they would be the group that would probably win the game. And so far, it has been very one-sided. You saw Jonte Porter. He's not scored in the game. 0 for 8 overall. You've got near double-doubles for both Davis and Williams. Their energy has fueled this team. Their energy and their work rate without the ball has put them in a position to be successful. 6 offensive rebounds between those two in the game.
TJ Starks looking for a screen.
Beautiful pass.
Wow, what a feed. Aggies can't take advantage of it. Here's Cassius Robertson. Perrier left it short, and Hope comes out of there with it. Home crowd all over Cassius Robertson, 5th-year transfer out of Canisius. They played on the road at Kentucky when he was at Canisius. That was the first big-time atmosphere he had played in. He said, you know, coming out of Canisius, it was the St. Bonaventure rivalry that was really the big game. Look at that. Robert Williams.
That is Robert Williams at his best. In the first half, he settles it. He takes the three-point shot. Instead, he dumps the ball down low. The defense turns its head to Tyler Davis, and he dives to the opposite side and receives the ball, able to finish.
Robertson goes into Davis. Hogue brings it down again.
He's now 1 for 11 shooting on the afternoon for Cassius Robertson.
Robertson and Jonte Porter have combined to go 1 for 19.
And those are players that you count on if you're Missouri. You need to get offense from them.
Robertson frustrated, commits his 3rd.
See the dump down, and the defense collapses with the double team. Weak side position again. It's Cassius Robertson, and he bails out because by the time he got there, it was far too late, Tom.
What a great team effort for Texas A&M on the offensive end today. 14 assists against just 4 turnovers. Williams catches a breather. Missouri came back from an 18-point deficit a week ago in Arkansas, but they haven't shown any efficiency on the offensive end to give you a glimmer of hope. And Geis has it bang hard off the back of the rim. Willie Kennedy stressed to us pregame it was going to have to start with defense. What an effort by the Aggies today.
They had a momentary lapse at the start of the second half, and ever since then they've dialed it right back in.
Tosha Morelos with the jumper. I think one thing that's perhaps lost by folks watching at home on the couch is you don't get a true appreciation for the length of Texas A&M. I mean, Tony Trocha-Morelos is playing the 3 or the 4 spot. He's 6'10" at the 3 a lot of times. With incredible wingspan. Couldn't adjust to that one as Geis gets the reverse.
With some mock pressure applied by Missouri.
ESPN Saturday Showcase continues tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern from Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. The 10th-ranked Jayhawks play host to Baylor. And then, biggest game of the year so far in the SEC. Number 18, Kentucky plays host to Mike White and the Florida Gators. Damon Allen had a great game last week for Florida. Here's what Joe Lunardi has right now. He's got 8 SEC teams in. We've had 9 teams in the top 40 of the RPI this season in the Southeastern Conference.
And Georgia sitting right on the outside. And some great non-conference wins from Georgia. Looking to get some consistency inside conference. A big opportunity for them against Auburn today. Yante Maton. Can his interior post presence disrupt the Tigers?
What a huge win, by the way, for Alabama at home against Auburn midweek.
Without Colin Sexton.
One of the best talents in the SEC. Per year. Has it blocked. Tyler Davis with the rejection. The Aggies are going to close this one out with a defensive exclamation point.
Out of an early January Arctic blast, the thawing out of Texas A&M might have begun today. And this is much more like what we've seen from the Aggies.
Are you AMC certified?
I don't know. My live Doppler is telling me this. When they play like this and their interior presence is aggressive, the Aggies become much better.
Shot clock violation, a non-issue. Missouri will be back at it Wednesday night on the SEC Network. They get Auburn.
Here's what I would say, Tom. Is this Aggie team a top 10 team in college basketball? No. Were they ever really a top 10 team, or was it just based on their record and who they played? Probably. But they certainly are worthy of being a top 25 team when they play like this.
Okay, so if you're a top 25 team based on anything besides your record and who you play,
I'm saying about
from
your
a talent perspective,
and where they probably should be. I don't think they ever really were a top 10 team. And I think the problem with this team is they believe they were a top 10 team instead of focusing on what made them that. And what made them that was their defense and their offense playing through their paint, being aggressive, having a clear-cut identity of who they are. And Billy Kennedy's team got back to that today.
They started the season 11-1 with their lone loss on the road against Arizona. 1-point losses to LSU and to Kentucky, and now consecutive wins for the first time since that 11-1 start. Aggies shut down Missouri. They hold the Tigers to just 49 points, and Missouri in their last 2 games against A&M have shot 26%.
And Jordan Geist is talking smack after the game is over. Just go shake hands.
7th straight win for the Aggies against Missouri. The series has been dominated by Texas A&M. They get their 10th win in the last 11 here in College Station against the Tigers. Our final 60-49 coming up for basketball, Tennessee and South Carolina. For Sean Farnham, our sensational crew, I'm Tom Hart. Let's get you to the studio. Here's Zubin and Chris.